Okay, hello. Welcome everyone. And yeah, we have New York Stock Exchange opening right now, and let me see how the Nasdaq looks on a 30-minute time frame. You can clearly see through the Asia session and in the London session we had pretty strong sell-off. Now price is trying to push higher. Even the last two candles were pretty bullish, but according to my analysis, there's still a high probability that we might see continuation to the downside. There's pretty much a huge difference between Nasdaq and US 30. You can clearly see Nasdaq is down 300 points, but US 30 is actually up 120 points, which is kind of unusual that you will see negative correlation between these two pairs. German 40 also down for today, but like 0.4%. That's nothing special. I will be looking for sells on Nasdaq, that's for sure. Okay, maybe sells could be even 27,000. Let me see on a 50-minute time frame. CVD showing pretty strong bearish momentum. We have a little bit more volatility just because we have a opening. New York Stock Exchange is open, so there will be a little bit more volatility. Maybe the best thing what we can do right now is just wait for the first 5-minute candle to close, then decide what to do. Probably I will gonna go with the buys above this 27,075 and probably sells below the current candle. So this will be buys. Buy above. And for the moment I will have sells. Probably sells below here. Keep that in mind that I'm pretty much trading every day. Just because I'm not live does not mean that I stopped trading. I trade pretty much every day in London and New York session. I'm not live because like there's not a lot of people watching, and yeah, I mean I also have some obligations. So yeah, I mean sometimes I could go live, but if I had like at least 10 people watching, then probably I would be live every day. But since only few people watching, there's no point of me being here every day because no one is here. Sells below. 2 minutes left, then we could eventually execute the trade. Let's go here and let's take a look down. Pretty strong rejection right here. Okay, today's highs are pretty much 27,400. Pretty high. Pretty much the whole day price is falling down, so there's kind of no reason for me to not look for sells. I could go expect, I mean usually New York session is pretty bullish, like 70% of the time for the indices, but we could expect corrections because there's still a lot of geopolitical events happening, Iran, all the wars, what we have currently. We also have this week a lot of news. First news we had was actually Bank of Japan policy rate, which was pretty much the same. Nothing has happened. Even CPI is falling down, so we could eventually see a weakness in Japanese yen. Consumer confidence is 4 p.m, so in the next 25 minutes. And you can clearly see US 30 is pretty much a ranging hold, not just all day. The last couple of days US 30 is pretty much going nowhere. But since we had a lot of bullishness on Nasdaq, it's kind of logical to expect that Nasdaq will fall harder than the US 30. Hello Ivan, welcome. If you look US 30 on a daily time frame, you will see that price, let me remove drawings, you will see price is going nowhere. Last few days pretty much in the range, but if you look on a Nasdaq, you will see Nasdaq has made all new all-time highs. And that's why if we see some kind of sell-off, that sell-off will more likely be more and harder on Nasdaq instead of US 30. That's why we had pretty much opposite direction on prices between Nasdaq and US 30 today. Okay, Nasdaq. Let's see, Nasdaq probably buys above. For sales, it's a little bit tricky, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let me see, maybe I can go with buys on Nasdaq. About 27,071. With stop loss below this lows. For sales, since we had a pretty strong bearish candle at the opening first 5 minutes, but there's a lot of range in US 30, so I'm not sure if I wanna be seller around here. There's a lot of volume right here. You can clearly see point of control. Maybe sales could be below this lows. 49,241. Sales below right here. Okay, let's wait for the Nasdaq. Eventually buys above. I mean, on Nasdaq, since we had a pretty strong drop, we could expect price making a pullback, and eventually price might continue to go down. First target would be definitely this point of control right there. That would be first target, so it should look like this. I will have a buy limit. So if price wanna go up, something like this, maybe my target could be slightly lower. US 30 is still kind of pushing higher, or at least trying to push higher. There's not a lot of news today, but tomorrow I think we have, let me see this week. Let me decide when I wanna stream tomorrow. Today is Tuesday. Wednesday, CPI, nothing, this is an Asia session. Yeah, maybe I can stream federal fund rates. I will still see. 340, 430, yeah, nothing special. Maybe tomorrow will be kind of low volume day just because of this. And I have entered into the buys on Nasdaq. I had a buy limit, so price has activated my entry, my buys on the Nasdaq. Stop loss could be even slightly lower, because you can clearly see on the previous candle we had a pretty strong rejection, and that rejection might continue to go higher. Nasdaq doing so for the moment a little bit better than US 30. Yeah, I'm still waiting for US. There's a lot of lines right here. Maybe I want to remove pivot points. Pivot points EMA. Okay, there's also not a lot of volume You can see here on the left side we have a nodes, volume nodes. There's pretty much a lack of volume on this area, which could basically mean the price could go through that very easily once when we see a little bit more bullish momentum. Yeah, you can clearly see like when US 30 goes up, Nasdaq goes down. Really funny price movement. We had also pretty strong sell-off on gold today. Really strong sell-off on gold. Like I don't remember when the gold last time went down 100 points or like a percentage over 2% in a day. If you look on a daily time frame, you can clearly see we had a pretty strong consolidation between 4,900 and 4,600, and price now broke below that, and now we are seeing pretty strong bearish momentum. More likely price of gold could continue to go down. We had created the highs. This is we also have, if you use technical analysis, you can argue that this is the double top. We had a pretty strong sell-off, that was really decent sell-off. We have created lower high. Now price could eventually continue to go down, create a new lower low, which means price could technically break below 4,100, and then we could eventually revisit 3,900. Okay, let's see how this trade will go on Nasdaq. Since we had here pretty decent rejection, there's kinda high probability that we might push higher. And considering that we are now still in the earnings season and a lot of big tech companies has positive earnings, and they will probably have positive earnings if once they released earnings, and that should eventually push Nasdaq even through the new all-time highs. US 30 for the moment looks, at least for today, slightly more bullish than Nasdaq, but that is nothing that cannot change. Nasdaq could go up like pretty significant amount of pips today, and especially if we have some big tech company releasing earnings after. Maybe we could even take a look. Investing.com. Earnings calendar, do we have that? Okay, we don't have that here. Economic earnings calendar, okay, we have that here as an option. Today Visa, Coca-Cola, they had like, let me see some big companies. Market cap. Okay, CMS. Okay. There is couple big companies, but not a big tech companies. Most of them already had, and they have positive earnings. Okay, damn, look at that. Now I will be moving probably, let me just move my stop loss. Yeah, 50 pips stop loss should go below the lows. Even on break even, I mean, that should be fine. Even if price goes, if my stop loss goes on break even, that should be fine. Maybe we could see a little bit more bullish momentum. Yeah, look at this US 30 is really choppy right now. Gold, let me take a look. Gold. Yeah, look at this 5-minute time frame and this volume profile. Yeah, imperfect entry or very good entry could be sells around 44,630 if we want to see continuation to the downside. So for me to go with the sells could be a little bit slightly risky, and then I will wait eventually for sells around here. 4,628. Around that area will be my sell opportunity. Let me see on a 50-minute time frame. Yeah, look at this. Now we have a 50-minute candle closure, which is very strong closure. So if we're gonna expect a lower wick even on a 50-minute time frame, yeah, I mean that could be somewhere where price might hit our stop loss. But according to 5-minute time frame, that shouldn't happen. Okay, we could expect current candle going slightly lower, but once when I see price breaking above the highs, I will be moving stop loss on break even and I will be closing 50% of my position. Stop loss to break even and 50% close. Okay, let's hope the price could go a little bit more up, break above these highs, and then I could move my stop loss and break even. Although I believe that the price will create a little bit bigger lower wick before we see continuation to the upside. Since we are in a New York session usually is pretty bullish, so there's kind of still high probability that we might see breakout. I mean, even now, like almost 40 pips profit, slightly a little bit more, 30 something pips profit. Hello Sonia, welcome. Okay, if I see breakout of the previous candle highs, just like I said, stop loss goes to break even and I will be closing 50%. It was actually a good decision not to trade US30 today, because US30 is going nowhere. Even if you look on a higher time frame, you can clearly see last few days very choppy price movement, hard to trade. Today we had a pretty strong sell-off on Nasdaq during the Asia and London session, so it's kind of, let's say, I will not say high probability that we might see continuation, but at least we could see a pullback before price continues to go down. So my target overall will be around 150 points, which will be this point of control for today. And then if I see some kind of consolidation around 27,227 or 30, I might consider even shorting Nasdaq if that happens. I said if we don't have 5 people in live, I will end the stream. Since we have 3 people watching, like, yeah, it is what it is. I will stay for a little bit. Maybe at least 15 minutes more. Let's take a look at gold. Yeah, gold will also more likely continue to go up slightly, because yeah, having a retest of 4,550 is pretty much significant drop on gold. So there is kind of high probability we might see a pullback, then continuation to the downside. Okay, my stop loss is now at the break even and I have closed 50% of my position, and now we could eventually expect that price will continue to go up. The reason for my entry is kind of obvious. I will not say that I knew that price would go up, but once when I saw this closure right here, this big rejection on the Nasdaq in the first 5 minutes, yes, candle is bearish, But nonetheless, since we had this strong rejection, it was high probability that price will continue to go up once when we had a breakout of this highs. And my entry was eventually above this highs. And my target was eventually biased above this highs right here. And that highs was like pretty much 5 minutes before New York Stock Exchange opening. We had a push, rejection, strong rejections. I mean, this sells below this area 26,950 is still valid in my opinion. And if that happens in the next 15 minutes, max 20, yeah, definitely I will be looking for sells on Nasdaq. I don't want to go with the sells right now because Nasdaq looks bullish. There's no reason for me to go with the sells. I'm still holding buys. My, I think 75 position will be closed around here. We'll see if we'll have enough bullish momentum to push above previous candle highs and see continuation to the upside. Okay, US 30. So far, pretty strong candle, I'm not gonna lie. So the whole London session and Asian session when Nasdaq was falling, I would say that DXY, not DXY, the US 30 kind of went higher. Okay, look at this. Not especially, still kind of consider, I'm still considering this as a range, but price was moving slightly up. And now when we have price falling down, Nasdaq is moving up. So there is, at least for today, there was a really strange price movement in these two pairs. At least for the last couple of days or weeks since I followed this strategy. CBD still looks bullish, so I still don't see a reason why I should close my position. Okay, I guess price is going down. It will be even more likely to break here, but I still managed to take some profit from this trade. my position ended the break even, but still with 50%. Let me just share that in on the Telegram. Let me just write. Stop loss was 27. At the beginning it was like 80 pips something, but let's say 27.36. Okay. Okay, price is now falling down. Just like I said, it's still kind of high probability the price might continue to go down. And my bias for today will still be sells, but I'm just looking for price to go below right here, 26,956. Okay. Now buys. Now buys. Where I could go with buys. I don't think I'll be looking for longs right now, since we have really strong rejection around 27,229. The highs, but like there is a lot of potential to the upside, but I'm not feeling comfortable trying to look for longs, as I know that we have here potential rejection zones right here, so price might eventually stuck on these areas. That's why I will be looking only for sales. Yeah, maybe I'm kind of considering longs on US 30. That could be really risky entry, but yeah, all day price is consolidating pretty much now. Price is rejecting from this very low. As you can clearly see, 49,267. Let me see, do we have some pivot points around? Not really. Next pivot point is 49,027. Yeah, maybe I could go with the sells below 49,241. 241. Yeah, this is rejection, really nice rejection. Wow, we look at that. There's really negative correlation right now between these two pairs. I'm not in sales. I'm not in sales on Nasdaq, but Nasdaq on US 30, because I don't like how the current candle is without upper wick. With a little bit more volatility, our price could definitely continue to go down. Daily low. Daily low right here. I don't want to rush with conclusions, but I wanna see one more bearish candle, or eventually sells below those daily lows. Maybe on the Nasdaq we could have a beautiful, even maybe better sells. I will add sells around 27,126. 27,126. I will be looking for sells on that Nasdaq. Or eventually I could now move slightly sells around here. So in both cases I will be looking for sells. Now the question is from what area first. Yeah, this sell-off on gold is continuing. We don't have a little bit bigger pullback, but now we're waiting for sells on Nasdaq below 27.29 or eventually 27.126. This is daily low. Okay, now we have a consolidation. Maybe I wanna have my sells maybe slightly above, because a lot of people have sells. Maybe we could see eventually a fake out, and that's why I want to have my stop loss with my entry where other people have their stop loss. So somewhere around here, 27,144, or eventually below those previous candle lows. Once when we see a breakout of the daily lows, we could eventually see continuation on Nasdaq, on US 30. I always confuse US 30 and... Okay. Even maybe I should take sells below. Maybe I should take sales below 2241, but I didn't. It is what it is. It's not the end of the world. There's nothing going on right now. There's nothing going on right now. I think I will end the stream right now because yeah, one guy is watching. Really tough price action on US 30. On Nasdaq, price looks a little bit more clear, which means sells could happen. My bias is still kind of bearish, but you never know with the Nasdaq. So when looking to sell Nasdaq, you have to do that with a little bit more cautious, you know. So sells 20. I will wait a few more minutes to see if I could have a sells around 27,144. If not, I will end the stream. Even on US 30 we have a rejection. Yeah, buys 49,211. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say right now when price already made a move. First 30 minutes were pretty bullish with pretty big lower and higher wick. Yeah, pretty much the previous 30-minute candle could be potential buys above and sells below the lows. So my sells slightly above the highs could be really risky right now. 50-minute time frame we have a consolidation. 1 hour time frame looks pretty bullish, and if we see breakout of the previous candle highs, that could be indication of potential continuation. 4 hour time frame looks like we might see continuation, but we still have inside bar candle, so there's a lot of unclarity here. Okay, guys, I will end the stream. There's nothing much to do right now. I was expecting a little bit more volatility, but that didn't happen, more likely because tomorrow we have FOMC Federal Fund rates. Then tomorrow we might expect a little bit more volatility. So thank you guys for being here. Hit the like button, subscribe, and see you tomorrow. Let me see, should I do? Maybe I could do even a London session in the morning. That would be, I will let you know everything in Telegram. So thank you guys and bye bye.